Alright, in this exercise I'm going to show you how you can implement more sophisticated pivot chart reports. And particularly we're going to implement a dashboard report. A business intelligence dashboard, similar to a car dashboard, displays important information in a way that is easy to understand, easy to analyze, and typically helps the management to get kind of bird's eye view of the company's health and performance. Typically, BI dashboard consists of several report areas, charts, or supporting information. In this case, we're going to display a dashboard report that consists of 4 charts. So I'm back to Power Pivot for Excel. I'm going to expand the pivot table drop down, and I'm going to go with this predefined layout of 4 charts. It's asking me when I want to put this report. Let's go and select an existing worksheet. Click the selector again, click Sheet 2, and click cell B2 on Sheet 2. And click OK again. And Excel creates 4 charts, 4 empty charts as we requested. It also generates 4 supporting sheets, as you can see at the bottom, data for sheet 2, chart 1, and so forth. Before we forget, let's go and rename sheet 1 to sales by country, just so we can tell this sheet apart. And let's go back to sheet 2 and rename that to a dashboard. So let's go and select the first chart. This chart is going to be a pie chart that is going to show the number of internet orders grouped by product category. So make sure again the chart 1 is selected, and let's go ahead and expand the internet sales table and check the order quantity field. Now, as you can see at this point, Excel defaults to column chart. Let's right click this chart and say change chart type and change it to a pie chart, this second variant of a pie chart, which is a 3D pie chart. And now let's go to product category, to the product table, and click on product category so we can see the data on this chart sliced by product category. Now we have a lot of options here to change the appearance of that chart. Let's right click on the chart area and say 3D rotation. And particularly what I want to do here is to change the Y angle to 50 degrees. And the perspective, maybe we can change it to 0.1%. And click close. Alright, this chart looks pretty good. However, it will definitely will benefit from showing the data labels on the chart so we can see the number of orders. Let's right click the chart and select and choose add data labels, and to show the labels better so they appear better on the report, let's go and right click any of those labels and click font, and then change the font to white font, and then right click any label again and click format data labels. Then in the number tab, let's change the label format to have a 1000 separator with no decimal places. Alright. Now let's go and change the chart title to Internet Orders by Product Category. And again, here you can make changes, interactive changes to this chart areas. For example, if you want to change the font of the title, just right click on the title, go to font, and then maybe change it to 16 points, or whatever looks good. We can also make this chart a little bit bigger by kind of expanding dragging the resize handles. And I think we're pretty much done with this chart, with this pie chart. Let's now switch to chart 2. Make sure that you select that chart, chart 2. This chart is going to display the top 10 resellers. Let's go and expand the reseller sales table and click the sales amount field to show that in a column chart. And then let's go and expand the reseller table and check the reseller name field. Alright, now that's a very busy looking chart because we have quite a few resellers, but really what we want to do is to display just the top 10 resellers in that chart. So let's go and expand the reseller name field and then go to the value filters and click top 10. And the default selection is just fine. By default, Excel is going to select the top 10 items and is going to evaluate the top 10 by sum of sales amount. Of course, we can change that to something else, but the default selection is very good. So let's click OK. Now the chart is better looking. However, probably what we need to do is to sort this chart by resellers in descending order by sales amount. So let's go ahead and expand the reseller sales amount again, and let's go and do more sort option, and we're going to do a descending sorting by sum of sales amount. Let's go and click OK. Now the chart sorts resellers in the top 10 resellers in descending order according to their sales. And we can make here familiar adjustments. For example, the y-axis requires a little bit of touch-up. Let's go and right-click it, go to Format Axis, and then change the number of formatting to not to have any decimal places. We don't need any decimal places for this chart. The legend area is really not that useful in this case because it doesn't display any interesting information. Let's select it and press the delete key to delete the legend. And what else we can do here? Of course, we can change the title. Let's click the title and change it to top 10 resellers. I think that's pretty much it for this chart. We're now moving to chart 3. This chart is going to display the AdventureWorks employees who are sales representative. It's going to show the performance of the AdventureWorks sales representatives. So let's go and click chart 3 to select it. Then let's say we want to see again from the reseller sales table, we're going to check the sales amount field. In this particular case, we want this visualization to be a bar chart. So let's right click on the chart area here and say change chart type, then go to bar and leave the default selection of bar, clustered bar, and then click OK. Next, we're going to show the actual employee name. So we're going to go to the employee table and we're going to select the last name field. And by default, Excel is going to put that in the access field categories, which is exactly what we need. Now, again, here we're going to benefit from sorting just to see, essentially, to put the employees that have made the most sales on top. And to do that, we will expand the last name. Then we're going to go to more sort options. We're going to click the ascending because the default actually order in a bar chart is descending, so we're going to change it to ascending, and we're going to change the drop down to sum of sales amount, and then we're going to click OK. Let's just expand that area a little bit. The legend is not very useful, so let's go ahead and delete it. Let's right click the axis, the numeric axis, and the click format axis again, and let's go to number and change this to not have any decimal places. And finally, let's change the title to the chart title to sales by employee, and that's it. And finally, we will configure the for chart, which is going to be a radar chart that is going to display the sales by reseller type. Click chart 4 to select it, and then again expand the reseller sales table and click the sales amount field. Let's right click the chart area and click change chart type, and then we will go to a radar, and then we will click the this variation of a radar chart, which is a field radar, and then we're going to click OK. Don't be discouraged that at this point you don't see any data on the chart. That's going to change in the next step, where we're going to expand the date table and we're going to select the month name field to essentially see the sales, how the sales fluctuate by month. The radar chart is a good visualization because it let us actually see how the data changes by several areas, such as month and even something else. And let's go and expand the again the reseller table and click business type to actually in this when we do this, the Excel puts that in the axis field, so let's go and drag it to the legend fields to see now how the data changes by month and also by business type. However, here our chart requires a little bit of touch-up because basically the warehouse sales completely obscure the other business types. So what we need to do here is to right click on the color area and click on sort and filter, and then go to the more sort options and click descending order by sales amount. So essentially when we do this, what happens is that the business types that have the list cells, they kind of bubble up on top. And to improve the visualization probably a little bit more, we can again click on the color area and then go and do a format data series, and then we're going to click the marker fill tab and go for gradient fill, and then click close. Finally, let's go and right click the axis, numeric axis here, and go to format axis, and then in the number tab, let's change the decimal places to 0, and let's go and change the font to something that is smaller, so hopefully this chart looks a little bit better. Alright, and by default, for some reason Excel does not put a title on this chart, but we can easily fix that by going to the layout menu and click the centered overlay title, and let's go and change this title to sales by reseller type. I think that's it. So now we have a I would say a nice looking dashboard consisting of 4 charts, a pie chart, a bar chart, then a column chart that shows the top 10 resellers, and finally a radar chart that shows the sales by reseller type.